Hello, Taurus. I am Ulrich. I'm a normal card reader, but today we will use a financial deck for your card reading. The laying is done with the three cards you see here in front of me. You can also see four objects here, meaning we will do four card readings for the sign of Taurus for the month of October 2021. Now, from these four objects, you choose or you pick one that you think relates most to your personality, or you choose one you feel most comfortable with. This object of your choice, it should or it will relate the best to your current financial situation or the advice that you are receiving from the cards regarding that financial situation. Of course, you can watch all four videos related to the Taurus sign and then decide which object or card reading is fitting you the best. There are four here, so you can decide. The matches here represent the fire group. The aerosol sprayer represents the air group. The stone represents the earth group. And the shell represents the water group. So Taurus, here we go for your financial card reading for October 2021. Hello, Taurus, and welcome to the water group for the card reading, or the shell group for the card reading for October 2021. Before we start, I mentioned that since 27 September, Mercury is going retrograde, meaning this is not a good time for signing contracts, agreements, anything you need to put your name under that officializes it. It's not a good thing to do. Also, during that period, you will see that your bus is more late. Packages that need to delivered in your home are in the wrong place delivered. The containance is wrong. Emails are not showing up, and this has consequences. This is all because our mind, the mind of all people, the collective mind, is working a little bit slower during that time. Also, during that period, it's not a good time, for instance, for buying laundry machines or cell phones or laptops. Why? These devices are connected to a contract, and the contract is connected to the warranty, and it's possible that some problems popping up there. Anyway, the general idea here is that we don't sign any contracts at all during that period that I mentioned. However, if for some reason you are obligated to sign a contract, you have no choice, you feel compelled, please double, triple check the fine print, because it's possible after you change your mind and you want to get out of the contract and you cannot anymore. There are certain clauses in the contract that you overlooked and you want out. And if you want out, you need to pay a big fine. So the best thing to do here is avoid contracts, and especially don't sign them during that period. This being said, here we go for your card reading, Taurus, for the water group. So the first card that we see here is the card of resilience. Maybe before you had a little bit difficult period, you spent some money and you now are in the recovery of this. Anyway, this is a card of reflection over your situation. Probably you're weighing some pros and cons in your life. Maybe you learned some hard lessons in your life before. And of course, if we had these lessons, we learn about them. Maybe you had a period that was not so beneficial before, but I'm seeing here with this card, you will recover from that. With this card, we need to learn from our flaws and weaknesses and turn them into our advantages. So don't think this is a stroke of bad luck, because it's not. It's just something that fate wants to learn us. See it as an obstacle that you had to overcome, and you learned an important lesson for bouncing back in a better future. By applying resilience, when the storm is finally calmed, you will recognize that this has been a very important lesson to us. And here this tells us also the next card that we could be, or we should be, creative with our money. Meaning, well, in the world we live in today, everything is for sale. But this card wants you to be creative and use your hands for making something. For instance, if we need to pack a present, instead of shopping around for the finding the wonder box that would be fantastic for our friends, we just put something together with recycled materials and we are creative. At the same time that we are creative with our hands, we save a lot of money, and we save the time that we need to look around in several malls for finding the box of our dreams. I'm just giving an example here, but there are many. Anyway, this card tells us that we need to be creative with our mind, that we need to find solution and work with that one. For instance, if the birthday of the son, the brother, the cousin is coming up, instead of going for buying the pie, you just do it yourself, you bake it yourself. Taurus is a sign that is very good with the hands and who likes the delights of life. So here you can be creative yourself, and you don't have to pay an astronomical bill for some pie that you like. You probably are better in creating it yourself if this card is here. So this being said, make room for your creative spirit, engage in your creative spirit. Also, this card urges you, if you are in a job, to be creative in your job, in the world around you. So this is what this card is about. The last card that we see here is the card of awareness. It wants to make us aware in the way we use money. What does this mean? Well, probably here, this card wants you to gain awareness. It wants you to improve your situation, and it tells you that you are the only one who has the ability to change your financial situation. So if you wait till some luck will encounter you, this card tells you not to do so. You need to be the architect of your own life. You have the power, you can control. Also, this card tells you you need to take care of the bigger picture. We never know what is happening in our life or what is to come. So here, this card tells us we need to foresee the unforeseen. Because if we don't, this could change our course of life, and we could have severe effects if we are not prepared for certain things. So this card asks you to reflect, note your impressions. If you want to advance, what do you like of your current situation and what you don't like? So this is like a plan that you are making up. A plan of action is required here from you. And by taking a step back and taking an overview over your situation, you will give yourself the gift of perspective. Here, this card tells you not to get carried away with money. Just march slowly advance. Don't spend money that you don't need to spend, and it will greatly improve the general conditions of your life. So Taurus, if you get a little bit wiser for the, I hope you get a little bit wiser of this card reading for the water group. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for doing so. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check out the other 3 card readings that are following here in this video. And also check my traditional Lenormand card readings that we do every month also for the sign of Taurus. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time you spend on my channel, and we see each other in my other videos. Thank you. Bye-bye for now. Hello, Taurus, and welcome to the Aerosol or the Air group for your financial card reading for October 2021. Before we start, I mentioned it in every group. Started on 27 September, Mercury is starting to run retrograde. This is up to 18 October. This is not a good time for signing contracts, agreements. Anything you need to put your name under is not a good thing to do. Also, you will see during that time, this happens frequently, that your bus is late, your flights is canceled, emails that you need to receive and that you are waiting on are not showing up. If they're showing up, they are late. These are all things that are happening during Mercury retrograde. It's because our mind, the collective mind of all people, is going a little bit slower during that period. Also included in that period, it's not a good time, for instance, for buy cell phones, laptops, laundry machines. Why? These devices are connected to a contract, and the contract is connected to a warranty, and sometimes problems pop up in that area. Anyway, the general idea here is that we don't sign contracts at all and try to avoid it. If, however, for some reason you would be obligated to sign a contract, you have no choice. Double, triple check the fine print, because it's possible after you change your mind, you want to get out of the contract or you want to change it and you cannot anymore. And if you want out, maybe you need to pay a big fine. So nobody wants these consequences, so it's best during that period not to sign any contracts at all. Anyway, coming back now to the card reading for the air group of Taurus. The first card here that we see is that this is the card of immediate satisfaction. So we all know we live in a world of overconsumption. Everything is for sale, or we can buy everything. So, and this card tells you that you should try to avoid fleeting objects. Happiness don't come with that. If you are the type of person that is always looking for immediate fulfillment, if you and you think this fulfillment, it lies in buying small object, this card tells you the opposite. It asks you to reflect, how long does this feeling of satisfaction last? And after you bought this gadget or this ointment or whatever it is, was it really worth your effort? Society teaches us that in order to be happy, we need to buy, we need to be consumers. According to TV commercials, it's unthinkable that we are fulfilled and have absolute happiness without being well dressed, having the dream electronics, the latest ones, having the car of the year, and we work harder and harder, and the more we work, the more we spend. So this card tells you to find a different approach. By spending, we tend to spend more, and this card tells you to pull yourself together. Be aware if you buy always small things, this is a nefast trend, and this card wants you to learn to transform yourself and get gratification with other things. If you try to avoid these instant happiness purchases, you will save a lot of money, and probably you will also be more happy because you didn't buy them. So try to adjust your consummation behavior, this card tells us. Probably the payments that you are doing are with credit cards, because the next card that we have here is about credit cards. This is about people who probably always use their credit cards for payments. And this card asks you to take a different approach in the way you use your credit card. We all have good intentions, but it's easy to use our credit cards. And sometimes we don't even check what is in our basket before we go to the cashier. And this card tells you to look through your glasses and don't act that way. Don't act and spend superficially. It's connected to this card. And this card asks you, did you spend again? This card wants to teach you a small trick. For instance, for avoiding that you buy superficial things that you don't actually need, you put a visual reminder in the corner of your card with a sticker with a small picture of things that you don't like. And if you are about to pay, you see it as a stop sign. So this is what this card is about. It wants that you control your behavior of always using your credit cards. And also a good trick is paying cash, because we have more sense with our money. We lose with credit cards, we lose the sense of money. So a good trick is also for paying cash. Anyway, also connected to this is that we buy online. A lot of us buy things online. And this card tells you, for instance, you can change your passwords for your online buying, for your before you finalize the purchase. You change your password, for instance, for confirming in unnecessary or truly necessary or reasonable. So it makes you reflect about the thing that you are about to purchase. This is a good trick. Of course, you will need to change these visual aids time to time. So this card asks you to be creative and administer those little reminders and adjust your tendency for superficial spending and always paying with credit cards. And most likely this is a group who buys superficial things. The last card is another approach. This is about that we rely on other people for our future, and this card tells you not to do so. For instance, here this card tells you that we need to accumulate some savings for our retirement, or for if things are getting less positive, or maybe we come in difficult period of our life. This card tells you that we need to prepare. If you, for instance, have incalculated your inheritance in your pension plan, this card tells you to not to do so. This card wants you to look in the future in another way. It wants you to rely on yourself. So don't make that mistake. This card says we need to consider also that our parents and getting older, many of them sell their house, they go to a retirement home and they need funds to maintain themselves. And of course, we cannot blame them. Everybody wants to be taken care of if we are in a retirement home. We need certain conditions for our survival. We need medication. And as we get older, we become 85, some of us become 90, we become much older. And so applies the same on your parents. So that is what this card is about. Realize that maybe what have you incalculated in your pension is not coming completely as you foresee it. Also, we have the fact that some parents, they meet somebody later on in life, maybe it's a neighbor, maybe it's somebody online, and they start a second life with this person. Who knows, they will not succumb to the young Venus or Cupid living next door, or somebody they met on the internet. And we never know, they will not favor this person in favor of the descendants. So we need to be careful with all these incalculations. So this card tells you not to rely on other people for these retirement analysis. You can partly calculate it in, but just don't be totally dependent on this card says. Anyway, plan your old days independently. This is the message of this card, and you will come out as a general winner. This being all for the air or the aerosol group for this month. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check out the other 3 card readings that following here also. And also check out the Lenormand card readings that we do for all the sign, including also for the sign of Taurus that we do every month for your sign. Anyway, thank you for your time. Thank you for the time you spend on my channel, and we see each other in my other videos. Hello, Taurus, and welcome to the Earth or the Stone group for your card reading, financial card reading for the month of October 2021. Before we start, I want to mention that since 27 September, Mercury is going retrograde up to 18 October, meaning this is not a good time for signing contracts, agreements, anything you need to put your name under that officializes it. It's not a good thing to do. You will also see during that period your emails are not showing up on time. Packages that need to be delivered at your home are not showing up. The containers of the package is wrong. Your flight is canceled. Your train is delayed. These are all things that are happening during Mercury retrograde very often. Also during that period, it's not a good idea, for instance, for buying laptops, cell phones, laundry machines. Why? These devices are connected to a contract, and the contract is connected to a warranty, and sometimes problems might pop up in that area. Anyway, the general idea here during that period is not to sign any contracts at all. However, if for some reason we are obligated, we have no choice for signing a contract, or we feel compelled, please double, triple check the fine print, because it's possible afterwards you change your mind, you want to get out of the contract, and there are some clauses in the contract you didn't see and you cannot get out anymore. And if you want to get out, you need to pay a big fine, and we are in the circle. So it's best during that period, try to avoid this so we don't get in any problems regarding those contracts. Anyway, coming back to the card reading for Taurus for the Stone group here. But the first card that we see here is the card of awards. What does this mean? Well, there are, if we work hard in our life, we need to reward ourselves. This is a normal procedure. But this card tells you if you reward yourself, please do this in a moderate way. Don't spend money that you don't have. Think what you have and be happy what you have. This is what this card is about. If you reward yourself, for instance, you take a walk outside, it's very cold, you come home, and for rewarding yourself, you drink a glass of milk with honey and you're very happy. It's hot in the area where you live, you come home and you drink an iced tea with ice cubes and you feel like you're in heaven. So this is what this card is about. We give ourselves small treats, small rewards, but it doesn't break us financially. Also, for instance, you can go to the library instead of buying a book. You can get some CDs in the library, or you can find some movies in the library also. Whatever makes you tick, this card says, that don't cost money is fine. You can take a walk, you can go for a run, as long as the expenses are minimized. This is what this card is about. Just try to encourage yourself without financially opening your wallet. The second card that we have here is related to our current living conditions. Maybe sometimes you're a little bit unhappy and you want to improve more in your life, but this card wants you to compare to others. For instance, to your grandparents. Just remember when you were there as a child, which means that they have. When they started out, probably you hear them telling the stories. There were no credit cards. There was just one salary when they lived together, and they had 3 or 4 children, and they needed to see at the end of the month that everything was paid. This is what this card is about. Be happy with the position that you have right now. Don't think that you're in a bad situation, because there's a lot of opportunities in our lives now compared to so many years ago. So think positive here with this card. Also, we have the credit cards here next to it. We need to think also they had no credit cards. They could not go into minus with the credit cards. If the money was used, it's finished. There were no trips to be taken. There was no exotic herbs, nothing of that. Nothing was possible. So if you compare yourself to those times, there is no comparison. Also, we need to think that a lot of people are in problems now. There are a lot of wars in the world. People are faced with drought. They have no food. They need to eat things for survival that they don't want to. But anyway, this is part of life, and this card wants you to be happy with what you have and where you are. So here, this card tells you, reflect on this and position yourself and be happy. The last card is about paying with credit cards. Probably in the last weeks, you spend a little bit too much with the credit cards, because else this card would not be here. And this card tells you to moderate yourself in the use of credit cards. If you don't, probably you will get in some problems, this card tells us. So be careful here. If you have certain debts in your credit cards, try to repay those debts. Also, I want to add here that some credit cards or some credit card companies, they are real sharks. Especially if you go below 0, they charge you immense interests. You can see this in your receipts that you get, or in your invoices that you receive monthly. Just check the interests and compare 2 credit cards, and you will see there is a big difference. Try to get rid of the expensive credit cards, balance them out, and try to get rid of them, and don't use them too much, because this is real sharking. If you buy an article, for instance, you don't pay the article anymore, it costs you more with the interest. So this card tells you, check out your credit cards if they don't overcharge you. This is what this is about. Anyway, and if we have additional expenses, unexpected expenses, we come even in more difficulties. Anyway, this card tells you to go in an adventure and limit the use of your credit cards. Be happy and compensate yourself with things that cost very few and that make you happy anyway. So, Taurus, for the stone or the earth group, this is all for this month. I hope you get a little bit wiser with this card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for doing so. Please check out also the classic Lenormand card reading we do for the sign of Taurus. Thank you for watching those also. And we see each other in my other videos. Bye-bye for now. Hello, Taurus, and welcome to the matches or the fire group for your financial card reading for October 2021. Before we start, I want to mention that since 27 September, up to 18 October, Mercury is going retrograde, meaning it's not a good time for signing contracts, agreements, anything you need to put your name under that officializes it. It's not a good thing to do. Also, during that period, you will see that your emails come late, your bus is not showing up, your flight is canceled. packages that need to arrive in your home are not showing up, the containers of the package in itself is wrong. These are all things that are happening during Mercury retrograde very often. Also, in that period, it's not a good idea, for instance, for buying laptops, cell phones, laundry machines. Why? These devices are connected to a contract, and the contract is connected to a warranty. So sometimes problems pop up there. So the general idea here is we don't sign any contracts or agreements during that period. If, however, for some reason we are obligated, we have no choice but signing the contract, or we feel compelled, or we want to, please double, triple check the contract. Because it's possible after you change your mind, you want to get out of it and you cannot anymore, because there are certain clauses in the contract you cannot get out anymore. And if you really want out, you need to pay a big fine. So think here before you begin this, and it's best during that period, excuse me, not to sign any contracts at all. Anyway, coming back here to the card reading for Taurus for the fire group, the first card that we see here is that you are urged here to get more savings. Probably you are in a better period of your life. And here, this card tells us to put up an automatic savings account. What is an automatic savings account? Well, it means if you have at the end of the month a lot of money left, instead of leaving it in your regular account, just transfer it on regular basis, fixed amount, to your savings account. With these amounts, you can build a safety net, and you can build up something for the future, maybe for your pension, so you can enjoy life later on. This is like, in this way, you assimilate on periodical basis a source of investments for the future. This is what we see here. Also, you can save for your children, you can save for a trip, you can save for something in your house, for a renovation in your house, or a trip that you, for a place where you long for a long time. Anyway, by regularly increasing these savings, you can quickly amount a lot of savings for yourself. So discipline yourself, this card says, and begin the virtuous circle, which will lead you towards more security and stability. And this is something that, of course, Taurus likes. Taurus likes to be comfortable and stable. The second card here is that sometimes we hold on to things that are no longer productive for us. Taurus is a fixed sign sometimes, and sometimes we cannot part from certain things. And this card tells you to check out certain things. For instance, if you have a landline in your home and you catch yourself, you never use it anymore. This card asks you, is it really still necessary that you hold on to this landline? Maybe you can cut this landline and you can use the money for something that you really need. Maybe you can put it in your savings account and save some money for it. Also, there are other things probably that you no longer need in your life, because else this card would not be here in this lane. For instance, maybe there are certain services before that were important for you, and you didn't use these services anymore. For instance, there are maybe TV channels that you before watched a lot, and you don't use these TV channels anymore, because if you think about it, you're always on the internet, and these channels are no longer of any purpose to you. So this is what this card is about. Times are changing, you are changing, we are changing. This card wants you to check out what you don't use and put that money for a better purpose, for improving yourself. So adjust to the current times, this card says, and you will save money. The last card here that we have is our needs, our daily needs. We are all unique. We distinct ourselves. Our spending is different. Everybody spends in a different way. And this card tells you to make an analysis of the way you spend your money. There are things that we actually need in life. This comes back to this card. It's the lane is very solid here. So this comes back actually to this card. You need to distinguish here what you really need and what we are obligated to have or to buy. If you make a fair and a precise analysis of this situation, you will see that there is a difference between things that we really need and what are not and are unnecessary. You could probably do several things in your life that you don't need anymore. If you eliminate these, for instance, also incidental purchases, by eliminating this, you will financially become healthier. This is what this card about, and making more savings. So also it asks you to avoid surpluses, luxury, small things that you buy, try to avoid those. If you are more conscious about that and make clear decisions toward this, you will be surprised how much that you enjoy the present, the bigger present that you wanted to give for yourself, and the luxury purchase you want for yourself if you put this one in a planning. So this is what this card laying is about, Taurus. I hope you enjoyed this card reading for the fire group. Anyway, thank you for watching my channel. Please check out also the regular Lenormand card readings that we do for the sign of Taurus on my channel. Thank you for your time, and we see each other in my other card readings. Thank you. Bye-bye.